especially in the UK, where obviously we're based, there's so many people doing different things in our sort of world, our sphere of CrossFit, and around the gyms and in the fitness industry, that I don't think get enough exposure, and especially the quality people. So the people that are just out there blasting stuff all over the show get a bit of attention, but there's people like yourself that are really hard working behind the scenes, and upcoming stars that I want to kind of promote, and I want to make as many people, you know, gravitate towards as possible. We've had all sorts of third parties on the show, you know, people that run different types of seminars, different like the Academy Project with Hannah. You've got Steve, obviously a mutual friend of ours with Defiant, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But and that's just the UK. Like I'm trying to branch out and think outside of the UK a lot now, because obviously Europe's fucking massive. You know, 700 million people, and we've got a lot of affiliates and gyms. Here he is, speak of the devil, he shall appear. But yeah, no, so cheers for joining me, Joey. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
I heard about you via Steve. I saw some of your work with him. And obviously, as you know, like what Steve's doing with Defiant is fucking brilliant. All the branches of the brand and the name go really hand in hand with the culture and what CrossFit's in the UK kind of all based around. So so how did you, we'll start at the beginning, upbringing. Where do you live? Do you still live where you were born, and where were you raised?
Yeah, so born and raised in North Lincolnshire, and I currently live in a little village called Waltham, not far from there. And yeah, I've been here my whole life.
Cool.
So I've been full-time videographer for about 3 years.
Cool.
And then before that, I was an engineer, and I used to travel a lot. So Monday to Friday, I was away from home. So yeah, I did that for like 3 or 4 years. I was a mechanical fitter, and then had enough of working away, and ended up getting a maintenance job local to me.
Right.
And then that just allowed me to have a lot more time to put into what I was sort of discovering my passion, which was videography. And then yeah, that just escalated from there, really.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And videography, how did you, was that like an accidental thing that you just discovered because you had an iPhone that you had a passion for and that you were good at? Or is there someone in your family that does it? Is there any other connection to it?
It's quite funny, like it happened really naturally, like now sort of reflecting and looking back. When I was a kid, I used to always video random stuff. Like I used to be into BMXing when I was really young. And I used to just video it, you know, like me and my mates jumping over like jumps that we'd build in our local park. I'm sure the dog walkers hated it, but yeah, we used to make like mud jumps and mess around. And then even like training my dog in the garden, like I used to have a collie and I used to train him and stuff. And I'd just video myself and talk to the camera. And like I never even watched YouTube or anything like that. It was just natural. And like I guess that's where it sort of came from. And then in later years, my brother, he gave me a GoPro, and I used to mess around with that. And then one thing that sort of sticks in my mind is I went on a lad's holiday, and we went to a snowbombing festival, which is in Austria. So it's like a skiing holiday, but it's like a music festival at the same time. So it's amazing, absolutely amazing. And I took it with me there. And again, I was just videoing everything, just documenting the whole holiday, like us lads skiing, messing around in the day. And then in the town, there was like 4 different venues where DJs would be playing, and they're all totally different. So I'd be filming that as well. And then luckily, after when I got back, one of the projects that I was on at the time was at Heathrow Airport, installing a baggage system. And we was at the commissioning phase. So this entails like one fitter, me, had to be on site for 12 hours, but I was just on hand for the commissioners. So if anything needed tweaking or changing, then I'd be there to do that. But otherwise, I had all this time to just do nothing. So I brought my laptop into work, and I just started editing these footage that I got from this holiday, and ended up making like this like pretty cool after movie of the whole thing, which is actually still on YouTube.
Amazing.
And then yeah, that's sort of where it came from. And then I started traveling a bit more with my partner. Like we went to like Asia and places like that. And I ended up buying a camera because I just wanted to take better quality photos.
Mm.
And then yeah, I just started taking pictures of everything, like landscapes, like cars, anything that I was interested in fitness. Um, and then it came from my best friend. He is a PT, or was a PT at the time, and he said, "Oh, do you want to video me while I do a workout? Like, it'd be cool to have on my page." And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I did that. It turned out at the time pretty good. And then another PT in the same gym was like, "Oh, that video is amazing. Would you be able to do one for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." So after I trained, like a couple of days later, I videoed him, put that together, and then a couple of days later, I saw him in the gym and he was thanking me for it. And he handed me 100 quid. And I was like, what? I was so shocked because it was
Yeah.
just like a hobby. Like I just did it off my own back. And it was
Mm.
like literally a light bulb moment where I was like, holy shit, like I could get paid to do this.
Mm.
And then ever since that day, it's just stuck in my head like I could really make something of this. And
Mm.
then yeah, so one thing just led to another. Like there was an entrepreneur guy who was in that gym as well.
Yeah.
He ended up hiring me for a couple of jobs, which
Right.
was something totally different. Like he was in construction and property, and then he ended up teaching people how to get into it and that sort of thing. So I
Wow.
was like filming him, like doing talking heads and things like that. And then, yeah, it literally just progressed from there. One thing just led to another, and I kept, learning, investing, and just rinse and
Yeah.
repeat, and just grown and grown and grown.
How old are you, Joey?
I'm 29 now,
Right.
just
Okay.
turned 29.
That's funny. My guess yesterday was 29 as well.
Yeah.
So funny enough, like I think I said this to Steve when he was on. A lot of the guests that I have on that are within our sort of sphere, they all come from an engineering background.
Hmm.
Like there's so many. There's so many affiliate
Really?
owners, so many brand people. And what it is, I think there's a very systematic approach to owning and running a business within our sort of industry. It's very here's a job that needs doing. Right, I've got a solution. Come up with a process and execute. And I think
Yeah.
that kind of it for whatever reason, like it's way above the average in terms of numbers of
Hmm.
engineers that are in the CrossFit world that I'm interested in.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so one thing you said about there going back was the BMXing. So
Hmm.
have you reached out to Kieran in Newcastle about his
No,
BMXing?
no.
So I fucking can't remember for the life of me his surname. So he won. I'm pretty sure he won either silver or gold at the Olympics. There's a British BMX rider. He's just broken his, but he does CrossFit.
I
In
think I do know who you're on about, actually. I'm sure I've seen him on
yeah.
social
So
media.
he let me just put this thing up now. Because are you still interested in BMX, or is it something you kind of like lost along the way somewhere?
Yeah, yeah, completely. Like, the older I got, the more I turned into like mountain biking and downhill
Right.
racing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. But
Yeah,
my son's into
BMXing was in my early days.
yeah. So here he is. So he was actually on Savon's show probably about a year ago now.
Yeah,
Actually, it
amazing.
was pre-Olympics. So yeah, it's
Mm.
probably about coming up a year ago. Yeah, Kieran Riley. He does CrossFit, and there's like he's going through. I think he broke his leg a little while ago doing a jump. This is where he broke it, but he rams into the thing. But
Jesus.
that's not a bad little trick there. But yeah, he ended up
That's impressive.
in hospital. But yeah, he's going through rehab at the moment, and some of the like clearly that's a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
He's getting a load of footage and stuff, but it all looks like it's done on a gimbal on a mobile phone at the moment. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's someone that crosses that bridge between, well,
Yeah, it's
three
cool.
bridges, three bridges really: CrossFit and the fitness industry, BMXing, and videography. It
Yeah.
might be like someone like him with a passion, and you know, in the UK, might be worth reaching out. I'm not sure he actually will have anyone following around at the moment. It doesn't look like it, but might be
Yeah,
worth.
100%. Yeah, it'd be worth a
Um,
message for sure.
yeah, yeah, you got silver. So with your I was actually, there was another thing I was going to pull up, the that Snowfest. Was it Snowfest?
Mm.
Snowbomb.
Savon.
I just googled it. The lineup, man. Like that's
Unbelievable.
this year.
Yeah.
That's not that. Like, how have I never heard of this? I guess because I'm
Yeah.
not really into
Yeah,
the
I'm
winter.
quite shocked you haven't, mate. I've been
Yeah,
twice. And the best part about it is it's on my birthday every year. So it
really.
just
Oh
makes it
man,
even
that's so
better.
good.
It's so good. Yeah. Just
And
makes it
I mean,
extra special.
So Solid Crew is a massive throwback there. But yeah, there's
Mm.
some bigger names up here. That's awesome. Good. I'm sure Steve will. I reckon Steve's got posters of So Solid Crew up in his room.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
there's that.
So camera
Mhm.
wise, I tried to ask a couple of people about this, right? So you know, you said you bought yourself a new camera. Where did you understand? It's all right. I just had a feeling, Steve. Where did you get the direction for your camera? Where did you go to learn about cameras? Was it something you kind of just put in the time to research, or did you have anyone that you kind of spoke to about all this?
Um, it was all YouTube, to be honest. Like self-taught everything. I'm quite impulsive. Like if I want something, I'll find a way to get it there and then. If I want to learn something, I'll just double down and just learn it off the bat. I do everything quite just abruptly, and that was one of them. Like I just thought I want to buy a camera, and then did the research, bought a camera which was in my budget, and then yeah, just on YouTube
Right.
and learn everything off there. And then yeah, didn't know anyone in the space, like no photographers or anything like that at the
Mm.
time. And then yeah, just trial and error, just shooting everything that I could, learning from mistakes, and yeah, that's just how it evolved.
Okay. And you said that was 3 years ago.
No, so I was full time I've been full time for 3 years. I bought my first camera in like July 2019. That's when I
Right.
bought my first camera.
Okay. Awesome.
Um, and then yeah, didn't really take it that seriously until maybe like 4 years ago.
Mm. Okay. You said something about talking heads and the guy that you videoed for with his instructional video on site and everything.
Hmm.
Um, there's obviously a big difference between stills and video. So
Hmm.
obviously,
Yeah.
your method behind, like, your style with videography, does that is that like a chameleon approach? Does it change between different settings? So for example, if you're at a CrossFit event as opposed to instructional videos for a building site, do
Hmm.
you have a particular style and a theme that you keep to as a videographer and that you're passionate about keeping, or do you change it to suit? Because my mum's an artistic director, so she's about to retire, but she's mid-60s now, so she's
Hmm.
gone through this whole phase of everything, sketch drawings, like basically graphic designer, and she's had to adapt massively with technology over the last 20 years. She's kept up with it, but
Hmm.
what she's found is that there's a lot more input from the person, the customer, in terms of, so your people that you're working for, your customer, they
Hmm.
have a lot more uh, uh, influence on what she's doing now, because there's so much out there to compare to. So
Yeah.
she's found herself towards the end of her career having to sort of do less of what she creates and more towards what they have asked her, because there's so many more references out there and videos and pictures and adverts to draw from.
Yeah.
When you're doing your videography, do you have that particular style and theme that you want to use? Is there a balance point there that you try and, you know, use
Yeah.
your own judgment?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place, and you sort of have to judge it. Like at the minute, like most of my clients are fitness related, so I'm quite lucky in the sense, for example, like Steve, they just leave me to, you know, they're hiring me because of my style and how I work. So there's not much direction there. You know, I'm just left to get on with it. Whereas like the corporate side of it, like you say with the construction, like I still have a couple of contracts now, and it's, yeah, it's totally different. Like it has to be. You know, it's a totally different field, and um, I've had like in the past, I've tried to sneak my style in there a bit. And then there's been comments, you know, it's a little bit too fast paced and choppy, like we need to slow it down, which is fair enough. Like, so yeah, most of the time I have free roam with the fitness side of things. But yeah, when it comes to corporate stuff, like, yeah, it has to be totally different, which is fine.
I guess the intent and the audience matter in that sense, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I like video as well. I've never done anything with it, and I have no intent on ever becoming a videographer. I went to the French Throwdown a couple of weeks ago, and I got myself a gimbal, and I was walking around with my spare iPhone and making videos. Right?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed the process. I loved it when I got something in the background that was really important, but no one saw. It was like this hidden gem that I managed to capture. Right? That was,
Yeah.
it's terrible footage. Like I'm awful at it, but the influence that I have on not only humor but also the way that I watch TV now was the original Office. So Gervais and Merchant's Office series that came out when I was 16 in 2001, and that had a massive influence on the way that I find visually things. The other one was like Breaking Bad. I don't know if you watched that, but like the visuals on that, the way that they filmed that was unique and genius.
Mhm.
Was there anything? Was there any series or visuals or creative person that you've drawn influence from in that respect, or did you completely just develop your own sort of style?
Um, I think in the early days it was completely my own style, and then I think, yeah, the more I got into the fitness space, especially the CrossFit space,
Mm,
I was lucky enough to get a contract with Battle for Middle Ground,
awesome.
if you've heard of their events.
Mm,
And then once you're in that space, you're then exposed to all these other creators, do you know? And I think, yeah, you sort of, I never like copy anyone, or, you know, everyone's their own thing. But I think you sort of, you take things from everyone, and then you
mm,
sort of turn it into your own, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
then, yeah, like it's always evolving as we go on, do you know? There's always things that change, and like viral things that you just sort of latch onto if you, do you know.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, it just sort of like evolves over the years, to
yeah.
be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there hasn't really been a certain person or a certain show that's like impacted like the way I
No.
work now.
Okay. Yeah. Steve's put
Oh,
talent borrows, genius steals. I heard a phrase called pollination a little while ago.
yeah,
So pollination is obviously taking, you know, when an idea spreads and reproduces itself somewhere else. In the music industry, it's quite a big thing. So rather than stealing, it's sampling, you know, and you're taking
yeah,
away elements of things and using it to make something new.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
Mimetic in that sense, I guess. So one thing, I'm 40, right? So the whole viral thing and the whole TikTok thing and all that, I don't get it, and it doesn't appeal to
Mm,
me. But I understand that a lot of our audience in the CrossFit gyms, it does appeal to these days.
mm,
Um, the whole viral, and I wanted to ask someone in media in our industry about this, is that does that actually have value? So, you know, like you'll see, I don't know, like the Murph stuff this weekend. right? You've
Mm.
got the same workout everyone's been doing for years, and yet there's still content to be had and published and put out there. Is it? Do you think the people making this content would prefer not to do the same thing over and over again and rehash what other people have done if they could? Or do you think that they enjoy doing a different spin on it? Because all I see is the same stuff. Murph is awesome, and I did it, and I've done it for the last 13 years, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I've never enjoyed like all the videos of people doing it and showing their reps and doing it. It doesn't really appeal to me. The actual doing it is what I find, and being in a gym with people doing it.
Yeah, sure.
How important is social media to you in terms of getting new work? Is it the people posting your work? Is that what you rely on rather than your own socials?
Yeah, I'd say mostly. I think ever since the collab feature came out, that's like a massive boost.
Mm,
Yeah, I'd say predominantly like it's when clients share my work or they collab with me and then people get exposed to my page and then it's just word of mouth, to be honest. Yeah.
right.
Um, yeah, a lot of my work comes off the back of other projects or other clients, you know.
Mm,
And then it just goes from there. But yeah, the viral side of things, I think it depends who's posting it. Like
yeah.
if you're like an influencer or something like that, obviously the more exposure, the more views you get, the better. Or if you're an athlete who wants to get sponsored, things like that are really important. But for someone like myself, not as such now.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because
Mm.
I'll pull your page up in a sec. Um, I know a few videographers in the media space in the US. So for in our industry in the US, um, and they rely quite heavily on the reposting of their services. And I didn't know whether we're a different market over here in the UK. Are
Mm.
you predominantly currently are you UK based?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and you obviously travel around like Hierox Marseille. Now, my friend Jon, who's done fucking a million Hieroxes, he's a Hierox coach. I'm actually doing one with him in October for my sins. Like, I can't think of anything worse, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, fair
Um,
play.
he said that to get a videographer there, there's certain videographers already there, and you pay them when you arrive or something.
Yeah.
How does it work? How does it work with the Hierox? And is that a new market for you that you feel is going to be quite, productive for you?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it sort of progress over like the last couple of years and definitely like over this year and like the back half of last year. Obviously, Hyrox has just exploded, you know. You can't even get tickets in the UK, you know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, there is a couple of videographers that I know that are doing exactly that. They'll just book a ticket and they'll go, and then people will, well, they'll just advertise that they're going to be at, say, Berlin for the weekend, and then you can just like pay the fee for them to follow you around while you race. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Right.
like a very new thing that I've seen. I haven't tapped into that space, to be honest. I haven't
Mm.
got the time to do that now. But yeah, it's definitely like a new thing that's happening that I've
Yeah.
noticed. Yeah.
It's quite a unique opportunity for media, I guess, is where
Mm.
you can just pay for a ticket to be authorized to be on the floor, and then people rock up and freelance, and pay you a fee, and you follow around, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get as much work as you're willing to do, I guess, on the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You could do one per heat if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
Be
if
a
you were
lot of
fit enough.
steps, but yeah, literally.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. So one of the guys that I like, Savon, who obviously I don't know if you know Savon is, but he was pretty big deal in CrossFit media. He ran it all.
Mm.
Every year when he goes to the games or he goes to events, he talks about how fucking knackering it is doing the media and being on your feet all day, and the amount of
Yeah,
kit you're carrying. It's
yeah,
like, best
yeah.
part of 10 kilos plus carrying it around.
Hmm.
Do you? So we'll come back to that in a sec. What type of training do you do? Do you do CrossFit, or are you in the arena?
Yeah, I do CrossFit. Yeah,
Cool.
I've done
Okay.
for years. Yeah.
Awesome. And so Savon doesn't really do CrossFit anymore. He just does 10 calories on the assault bike and some press ups or something. But do you? It sounds silly, but do you do anything different when you're coming up to a big job? Do you taper your training or anything? Is that anything that you even consider?
No, to be honest, I won't say ramp it up, but I make sure that I train right up until the moment I'm going, because I know I'm not going to get any like weight training in while I'm there. Obviously, it's just going to be steps.
Mm.
Um, so I try to do as much as I can like the week before, and
Right.
then on the event I just focus on that. Like I used to like tell myself that I'll go to the gym once I finish, but
Yeah.
literally you get to that hotel room or wherever I'm staying and it's like you're not going to the gym.
No. No.
Like, do you know you've
That's
done like 20 something thousand steps and you've still got like a couple of hours editing to do, and it's like no, just don't
yeah.
bother.
Yeah. Yeah. It. I mean, I've done this once, literally once at the French Throwdown. That's my whole entire career of videography. And I turned up on the plane, landed with my bag on me with everything in, and then I got picked up directly from the airport, and then was like told, right, here's your media pass, go. And I was like, fuck. So I was carrying around my bag on my back with all my
And
kit in
then
it and my clothes and everything. And I got
yeah,
to the hotel that night and I was fucked. I was like,
yeah,
how do people do this shit? And it was like, oh, Savon was right. Like, this is tiring shit.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
but do you know about Ruck Race? Have you heard about Ruck Race?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
yeah. So I've been doing that the last couple of months, and I genuinely do think that prepared me quite a lot though for carrying
yeah,
around that gear on my back.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
and I know that a few people have started doing it in the space to try and prepare themselves for carrying around kit at media and at events. So it might be a link up there.
I
But yeah,
actually did a shoot for, do you know Yomp?
yomp, yomp.
You heard of Yomp? It's like a rucking, like weighted vests company. They've got like
Oh,
a
yeah,
military background.
yeah.
Really, really good brand, really good kit. Yeah, I did a shoot with them like a week ago actually,
Oh,
and that's
awesome.
the first time I've sort of had exposure to like the rucking side of things.
Yeah.
It was cool. I got to sit down with we had about 6 athletes, like sat down and interviewed them, and then went through like a little bit of a workout after. It was cool, really good.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'll get in contact with them. I've got I've spoken to GoRuck quite a lot. There's a guy called Mac, ex-military. He runs GoRuck in Europe now, based in Germany. I saw him at the French, but he's such a lovely guy. Like a lot of history, a lot of background in CrossFit.
Yeah,
But yeah, obviously GoRuck are more of a obviously international brand. But
yeah,
I love
sure.
what they're doing. And Ruck Race League with Bill and Kayan, they're running this thing globally, this competition, just to get more people out of the gym and doing actual using their applied GPP outside of the gym rather than getting fit for the
Yeah,
sake of the gym,
yeah,
which is nice. And again, it's nice at this point we find ourselves, in 2025, all these new branches and like offshoots from what we do in the gym, and people coming up with new great ideas about how to test your fitness, and it's really cool. It's really nice to be in this environment, and I do enjoy it. Even like the World Fitness Project, I mean, doesn't appeal to me in the slightest, but I get what they're trying to do. Like that, the intent is there, and they're trying to professionalize it and pay athletes a bit of money and
hmm
add some je ne sais quoi to the whole kind of arena of CrossFit without it being CrossFit. And I don't
yeah,
necessarily think it's in competition with it, but it's an
no,
offshoot. It's something for the elite to be able to go and earn a bit more money.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not to do with the community, obviously. It's just a
mhm,
spectacle for us. But there's one in Copenhagen coming up. They were applying for. They were looking for media people for WFP. I think in Europe. Might be worth doing that. But,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Cool.
So at the moment you're doing. So talk me through kind of like what work you've got on at the moment. Have you got retainers? So you mentioned Battle for Middle Ground there. Do you still work with Hornsey with that at all?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've worked with Hornsey for like a good 3 years now. Yeah, what was the job? It was funny how that one came about. Reggie Faster came to our box and did like a seminar.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, at this point, I'd sort of found my feet with my camera, so I was like, "Oh, I'll bring my camera along and get some videos." Anyway, yeah, I ended up sending him a couple of videos, and he posted one of them, and then basically got scouted by one of Hornsey's media managers, Alicia, and she messaged me and was like, "Oh, do you want to come and have a go? Do you know, I like love your work, but I see you haven't done like the competition side of things. Do you want a shot at it?" So obviously, I took her up on it, and then yeah, that went well. And then ever since that shoot, I've pretty much done every single competition over the past 3 years. I know he's got, I think there's like 5 or 6 different events.
Mm.
And then the same with Steve. Like I've known Steve for pretty much from the beginning. He had a pop-up shop at our local CrossFit gym when they were doing like a competition, and that's where I met Steve. And that was like, yeah, back in like must have been 2019. And yeah, I've worked with him ever since. At the Defiant Games, which is another amazing CrossFit
Mm.
competition in the UK. And then I
Yeah.
also work on the brand side of things with Steve. Obviously, the box tour, like you've discussed,
Yeah.
we're doing that monthly. Um, and I've recently had the opportunity to work with an athlete called Tatiana Tomlinson.
Right.
And
Okay.
she's a 13-year-old CrossFit functional fitness athlete.
Right.
Um, and basically, to put it into perspective, the first shoot I did with her, she was competing at the CrossFit semi-finals this year. So obviously it was online. So we went to a
Yeah.
gym and I basically documented her doing her workouts.
Right.
And then off the back of that, like her parents um, were happy with what I produced, and we had a conversation, and they basically want to document the rest of her season,
Amazing.
which is amazing. Like, so since then, I've been going a minimum of 1 day a week. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
I've been going to like her house or wherever she's training, like once or twice a week, and just documenting the journey. Um, she's got an amazing team around her. Like I say, her parents are amazing. They're super supportive. They're giving her like the best opportunity possible. Like she's got an amazing coach called Ben at CrossFit Retford. She's got a weightlifting and gymnastics coach, Freya, who's competed in both at a high level. She's been to see like a rowing specialist. She's got a nutritionist on board. She's just, got the best possible opportunity. But apart from that, like herself, like she's super strong physically. Like for a 13-year-old, it's insane how strong she is. Like everything's perfect, like her form, technique, everything. And
Yeah.
not only that, like mentally, she's strong. Like she's doing all this off her own back. Like her
Mm.
parents aren't pushing her to do this. They're literally just supporting her in any way they can. But she wants this for herself. They've
Yeah.
even got like a gym at home now, and sometimes the parents will wake up and she's already trained. She's that like dedicated and
Yeah.
driven towards it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Like that's what I've been doing mostly at the minute. Piecing that together. We're gonna start a YouTube. Like I've got enough content now. So yeah, we're gonna start a YouTube channel and post monthly of like how our season's um, going into depth like with the nutritionist, and like he's been cooking meals for her and stuff like that.
Mm.
She's got the BF3 coming up, the European
Yeah.
Championships. Oh, by the way, she came 22nd in the world for the games. But and obviously the top 30 go to the games, but she's actually too young to compete, so she got denied entry.
Wow.
But yeah, so that is what it is. But that puts into perspective how good she is, 22nd in the world, and she's not
Shit,
even
man.
old enough. So yeah,
That's
so yeah,
uh,
that's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, so she's got the BF3 European
mm.
Championships coming up, which is in the Netherlands, which we're going to. and
Yeah.
then there'll be the Worlds in December. I think it's in Latvia as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's a pretty exciting project that I'm on at the minute.
Yeah. How long has she been doing CrossFit for?
I think she started when she was 10. This will all be in the YouTube if asked these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She started when she was about 10, and there was like a teen class at the local gym, and then that sort of dropped off, and then she's been training CrossFit like consistently weekly for the past year.
That's nuts. 1
Yeah,
year. And
yeah,
then having done a couple of teen classes before that is
yeah.
mad, isn't it? The adaptation that those kids can do in such a short period of time is nuts.
Honestly, like it's crazy. I was
Yeah.
lucky enough, like when I filmed her semi-finals, there was a group of them. So there was Tati, a lad called Billy Harrison, and Kira.
Right.
Kira won the games last year, so they
Yeah.
was all doing the semis together. And I've never been exposed to a teens category before. I've
Mm.
always worked with, adults or 18 plus, and like, yeah, it just blew my mind, like what these teenagers are doing, like the
Mm.
weights, the technical side of it, everything. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I've often thought about this, and like we run a teens class and the kids class, and my kids are 7 and 6 and they do CrossFit. And the thing that we're seeing now is that there's this, like, Sprague obviously started CrossFit when he was a young lad. His dad got him into it.
Yeah,
What you're seeing now is these kids that have grown up only doing CrossFit. They've been exposed to it from a young age. But if you like, if when I coach Olympic lifting or powerlifting and gymnastics for that extent, my daughter does it. They've got this beautiful innocence of no consequence. Doesn't matter.
mhm,
They've never had to deal with consequence much before. They're really
yeah,
fucking good with movement. So their
yeah,
movement quality is insane. And if they follow instruction and are coachable, you've got the perfect athlete right there at a
yeah,
young age
yeah,
for CrossFit. They will dive under a bar without even fucking worrying about it. They don't
yeah,
care about the consequence. They're coachable and they
mhm,
move really well. It's this
yeah,
it's this lovely balance between those three. And what you end up with is people like Tatiana. And there's this girl. Like, so I live on the Isle of Man, and Amy Kringle's from here originally. She moved across a couple of
mhm,
years ago to
yeah,
expand her horizons and train with other people.
yeah,
But there's a girl called Belinda Dennett who's just turned 17. I think she might have, yeah, just turning 17.
yeah,
And her nickname is the Angry Russian, right? She's not Russian.
mm.
She's the nicest, most pleasant, kind, softly spoken, like, young woman. And she just,
Mm,
and last year she was doing her GCSEs. She would come into the gym between her exams with a suit and tie on and everything from there, go in the changing rooms, come out, look like a fucking games athlete, crush one of the
mm,
semi-final workouts online, go and get ready and go back to school for exams without a blink,
gee,
without a care in the world, just getting on with
yeah,
it. But they call
that's
it Angry
amazing.
Russian because 3, 2, 1, go. It's like
Different boost.
something clicked, and she becomes this
Yeah,
angry Russian. It's like the eyes are on, and like
yeah,
it's fucking Terminator mode. And then
I
she's back
love
to being this 17-year-old, like, really lovely, kind little girl. It's like fucking,
that.
it's mind blowing. Whereas with the
Yeah, I love
adults,
that.
you don't tend to see that transformation because they are adults, and you don't see the switch between the two modes really.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. Yeah.
but I think that's awesome with Tatiana. With a name like Tatiana? Is she of English or like heritage?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
English
Okay.
heritage, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
as
Okay.
far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Just sounds like
Yeah,
a Russian sort of name. That's all.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd be really interested to talk, because my aim with this channel, we've always said this. I'm not too interested in speaking to like games athletes and the top tip of the spear. It's not what I'm necessarily. I'm interested in it. It's the circus that comes to town, but
Of
I
course.
love hearing about, like, the whole point in this is the base show, the base of the pyramid, like nutrition and working your way up, and the community and the affiliates and that kind of thing. But I'd be really, really interested if they were ever keen to speak to Tatiana's parents, because I think
Mhm,
what I love hearing about, and being a former affiliate owner and a parent that takes my kids to CrossFit classes, is the
mhm,
is the relationship as a parent with an elite level teenage athlete. I want to hear what the parents have to say. Like, it would
mhm.
be awesome to be able to hear that. So if they were
Yeah.
ever keen to keen to come on and talk, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've worked closely with them for maybe 2 months now, and I can probably answer for them and say yes, they would. Will definitely would. Her dad,
Right.
he's a dad. He's the manager. He's the head coach, you could say, the taxi driver, the
Yeah.
shoelace timer.
Yeah.
He's fully invested. So is the mum, but he is like so passionate, and like he'll stay up all night, watching back her videos, to see where
Yeah.
she can make up time, things like that. And yeah, he's a really interesting guy, and yeah, I'm sure, yeah, that'd be a great conversation to have,
Oh,
100%.
that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah.
So you're 3 years down the road, doing this full time. You're currently on the UK scene. You've got these really cool opportunities coming out with people like Tatiana. You've got Hornsey on a retainer. You've had enough experience now where you, yeah, let's get a sign to Defiant before, yeah, the first Defiant athlete coming on hot. Have you set yourself any mid to long term goals with all of this? And if so, would you mind sharing any of them, or do you want to keep that close to your chest?
I think like the first couple of years, it was just head down, grind, and try and get comfortable, because it is tough. Like, it's so unpredictable. Like, 1 month you could have an absolutely amazing month, and then you think you've cracked it. You're like, this is it. I've made it. And then 2 months later, one thing happens or whatever happened, and all of a sudden it just plummets, and you're like, what just happened? You like, and then I've just learned over the months, years, you can never be like sort of compliant or comfortable and think you've made it, because anything can happen. So yeah, like the first year definitely was a struggle. Just trying to network and getting your name out there and getting consistent work. Like I say, you might have an influx of jobs, and then it might drop off, and you're thinking like, why? Like, what's happening? And then yeah, like the last year has been like really, really good. Like, made really good connections with people, and I've really put myself out there. Um, in the right spaces. Like, I don't just take on any job. I'm quite selective, and I'm at the point now where it's like I only shoot what I want to shoot. Like what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'd say like the last half of last year and like leading into this year has been like the best position I've ever been in, like financially and like mentally. Like,
Awesome.
I'm stressed, but it's like a good stress. Like, I'm stressed because I've got that much work. I'm not stressed because I haven't got the work coming in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I think goals going forward, the only thing that sort of springs to mind is sort of expanding the team and bringing other people on board, to then allow more work in, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be great to bring someone on board to teach, like how I work and things like that. I've
Yeah.
had like, I've had help, like my partner's given me a hand in the past, like with the early stages of the editing process, like where it doesn't take much like skill or anything like that. It just takes time. And I've even had,
Was that your drone? Sorry, Joey. Have you got a drone?
yeah, that's
Oh,
mine. Yeah.
amazing. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, and like at the minute I've got my mum. She's doing a bit. She works part time, and she's always saying how she gets bored sometimes. So I was like, well, you can give this a go if you want. And she's got like she's got an art degree, so she's got like a creative sort of background,
Yeah.
and she's got an eye for it, similar to me. So yeah, it's going well. Like I say, the early stages of the editing process, like it's just really time consuming. So it's good to um,
Mm.
be able to skip that step and get straight into the edit.
Yeah.
But apart from that, like, don't really have any goals, to be honest. I'm just
No.
taking every week as it comes. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a funny one. similar kind of thing in our space with like owning a gym, I guess. It's, you've got a service that won't necessarily change by its nature. So if you're an affiliate owner, you're running the affiliate, the end service isn't going to change much. You know, I've got a facility, I'm supplying coaching, a community, and, you know, getting people fitter and healthier. But you have to mix things up, and, you know, you've got to be constantly striving and reaching for extra goals, which might be for an affiliate owner, more members. It might be expanding the gym floor. It might be getting new kit in. It might be getting, you know, different classes on the roster. But I guess for you guys, it would be more media, more events, the volume, and maintaining the quality of what you're producing, but just expanding across different events. Are you interested in different sports currently? Like, is that something that you, obviously you're in a lot of the media that you've got on your on your Instagram page is within our sort of realm of the health and fitness. Are there any other sports that kind of take your fancy in terms of like videography at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about sports in general, like from a videography point of view. Like, I'd absolutely love to, you know, shoot rugby or football or anything like that. Boxing. I've done a bit of boxing. Like, I had a retainer with a local boxing gym who I worked with for like over 2 years, which was great. But yeah, I think naturally, because I've always done CrossFit, that's what I'm like passionate about myself. And I'm even more passionate about like filming it as well, do you know, because I'm in that world. So like naturally, I've just always sort of honed in on that. And then the other bits have just sort of happened around it. Do you know, people might contact me because they've seen my work. And then I've, you know, gone off and done a shoot doing that. And then I just come back to my CrossFit. So yeah, I'm not like actively looking for anything else. Like I say, like, especially this year, like I'm super content with everything that I've got now. Like, I don't want to change anything. Like, I've got a really nice balance. Like, over the past year, I've really prioritized training myself as well, because it was sort of getting to me a lot. You know, I was sacrificing a lot of time for work, and because I was learning working for myself, I used to work until like midnight a lot of nights, or even later. Do you know, if I had projects to finish, I just wouldn't sleep, and like I was just burying myself in work and neglecting my training, which then would affect like my relationship with my partner and friends and things like that. So yeah, I really made like a conscious effort to put my training as high as I do my business. So like, even if I'm, you know, buried in work, it's like, no, it's 12 o'clock. I need to go train, and I'll go train and come back to it. And like, just mentally, like that puts me in a much better headspace to get on with my work. Good.
It's the whole oxygen mask thing, isn't it? You know, you got to put on your own life jacket and oxygen before you can start helping other people. If you're getting knackered, you know, if you're not keeping, the whole point of CrossFit is that we're health and longevity and preparing a body for whatever comes our way. If you're not preparing your body, then you're going to find you start getting hurt and you can't do your job. You have no income and blah blah blah. So yeah, totally agree with you there. So you're at the point now where you're kind of thinking about recruiting and taking people on board. One thing I will say is that Hannah, with the academy program down in Worcester, I don't know if you've become aware of what they do. I know Steve's been in contact with Hannah recently. They take kids from disadvantaged backgrounds or that have got in a bit of trouble at an early age, and they're using the council's CrossFit funding and their own funding and the affiliates, and they're linking all them up and putting these teens and kids into CrossFit gyms, giving them value, giving them purpose, direction. I think they had last year, I think they had 2 or 3 of the teens actually go to the pit games. They qualified for the games last year. And what they try and do is give these kids an opportunity. Loads of them have done their level 1s now. They're becoming coaches now at these CrossFit gyms. This is all across the UK. And what they're trying to do is give them extra, like not only just coaches, but everything in the space that we have. And I've seemed to remember Hannah saying that there's a couple of the teens that have got taken an interest in the media side of stuff. So if ever you're kind of wanting to kind of take take some young adults and teens under your wing and recruit for the next people that can take on the work and are willing to travel, know CrossFit, intimately, and are willing to work and put a lot. It might be worth linking up with Hannah. I can send you the details after this, because she's probably got a pool of kids, and I say kids, young people, young adults that are probably really gasping for the opportunity to do something like that. And are mega keen. Cool. All right, Joey. So
I love that.
Yeah, I'll do that. So what's the plans for the summer then? What events have you got coming out that we can look forward to seeing you at?
Well, I'll be at all of the Battle for Middle Ground events working. BF3 in the Netherlands, I'll be there, and then hopefully the Worlds in Latvia. I'll be at Summer Socials this Saturday, which is an event in the centre of London. It's on like a rugby sort of arena, and then they've got all sorts of things going on, but there's like a CrossFit event that they've got going on. It's like more like a bit of fun really, and a get together and like a bit of a rave after. And I'm part of the team.
Just it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, you got the Love Island matey boy. What's his name? He's a funny fucker, that guy. Can't remember his name. He's on Love Island.
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, but no, it looks decent. Do you know what? Again, all this kind of shit, right? I don't know how long this has been going on for, but is it Twickenham? Right. Yeah, like all this kind of stuff. This is awesome. It's getting people moving, getting more active, getting this festival approach is exactly the way forward with these kind of events. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, amazing. I had no idea. I used to live like
I didn't, to be fair. Yeah, someone that I know in the media space, she just reached out and asked if I wanted to join the team. So I was
amazing.
Like, 100%. Another amazing one like that is Turf Games.
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be in summer. I had the opportunity to work at that a couple of years ago, which was unreal. And I was trying to get tickets this year to compete myself, but I missed the boat. And then they actually released some more tickets like a couple of weeks ago, and I was too slow on that as well. So but that's definitely what I want to do next year.
Have you ever been to Tribal Clash at all?
No, I've heard of it though. Yeah, I've seen like the videos and stuff. I think I know the guy that does the videos there.
Yeah, we did that. That was the first competition, like CrossFit themed competition I did in 2013. Down in Devon on the beach. Nice. And we did it every year till 2019. Went to Portugal one year, so we did it quite a few years. But my God, I have never been to a competition quite like that. And I know they've rebooted it. Ath and Rob have taken it over from Deviant, I think, not Defiant, Deviant, in Derby. So they've taken that over. But yeah, that's another competition where, if like being involved in media would be pretty cool. That's the thing. Like, I know it's hard work, and I know I can't begin to imagine how tired you are and how fatiguing the editing process and fucking how knackering it is. But if you're passionate about it, what an amazing career to have. Like going to these events, witnessing all those moments, being able to get it on camera, capturing, like I said earlier, those two little moments that I managed to somehow scrape together and behind the glitz and getting in the background. Getting those moments, it must be so rewarding, that kind of that role.
100%. Like, I have to sort of pinch myself sometimes, because you just get so like your head's just down and you're grinding, and there's times where I'm actually like, this is, I don't know if you can swear on this channel.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Like, I get goosebumps, Sometimes I'll be filming them like, this is amazing. Like, I absolutely love what I'm doing. There's been so many moments like that, and it just pays off. Like, shooting event days, it's crazy. It's so intense, and like you're turning around videos before the next workout starts. Like, it's that fast paced.
That is nuts.
But when you're capturing like someone, doing like a max lift, and it might be like a lifetime PB, and you capture things like that, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
Like I've had the opportunity. I got to go to the semi-finals in Berlin.
Awesome.
I was part of the media for WIT at the time, and we was like covering their WIT athletes and stuff and things like that. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it just sticks with me
Unreal.
forever. Yeah, it was
And
amazing opportunity.
I guess at this point you built your portfolio up enough where, you know, you've got individuals that might contact you and say, can you come and do a shoot with me? You've got teams going to competitions that you want media. You've got the actual events coming to you now and asking if you can do their media. So you've got everything covered. There's a lot of variety in what you do, you know, and different styles, different takes on everything. So it's such a cool and creative way of being able to express you and earn money. like,
Exactly, get paid at the same time.
it's nuts. Like, can you imagine yourself at Heathrow Airport installing bagging systems now compared to what you do now? Like,
Honestly, yeah, I'm so grateful. Like, I just feel so lucky to have something like that that opportunity fall on my lap, and then I've just took it and ran with it. But yeah, I used to think like I absolutely loved my job when I was in engineering. Like the actual job, it was quite creative itself. You're building things and figuring calculations and things like that. And I worked myself up in the business to like a supervisor role, and like I absolutely loved it. It was just being away from home. But in the back of my head, when I'd be sat in like the canteen, I used to think like, as much as I do love it, I can't see myself doing this like forever.
yeah,
When I looked at the older guys and I was like, that's not me. Like,
yeah,
I need something more than this. But
yeah.
then, yeah, when this sort of started evolving, and when that PT John passed me that £100, that
Mm,
was it. That was like when
yeah.
I was like, ah, this could be a thing actually. And then
Yeah.
yeah, the rest is history.
It's the I had a very similar moment with all this for me. I used to work for a beer company. Used to take clients here, there, and everywhere. I was a national account manager for one of them, and I was 24, 25 at the time when I started CrossFit, and I was racing home from like meetings in like Northampton. Not even bloody further up. I'd be in Newcastle one day, and it'd be a 5-hour drive back. I would engineer everything that I could get back in time for like the 7 p.m. WOD or whatever. I was just desperate to be at the gym. And I did not want to be in that role. It paid really well, and I enjoyed it at the time, the buzz of sales and blah, blah, blah. But I had this thing that I would crave to do infinitely more. And this is before I had kids, infinitely more before work or anything like that. And I would engineer my work all around the workout, right? And then there was this one day I was sat in a meeting, and there was this 50-odd-year-old guy in charge of our team, and there's people sat around. There's me, a couple of other mid-20s, account managers, and then these older people that were like 50s. One of them was in their 60s, and I was sat there. And when you've got all the noise of the room just comes white noise, and it's just like chaos. You just zone out. And I looked at this guy who was like late 50s, miserable, and I was thinking, nah. No. That thing that I race home to, that I know I can do, and I coach on the side. That's where my future
I
lies.
need to be
I can't be doing this forever. I'm 25 now. I've got another 25 years. It's fuck that. So took the steps, and just like yourself, Joey. You took the steps. You did it on the side to start with. You built up reputation, but then you just have to take the plunge at some point. That's the tough bit.
yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah, there's no salary. There's no salary,
No.
and you're doing,
Now,
and you
by
got
that point, you have like a mortgage and a car to pay and all this, and then it's like, right, I'm gonna leave my secure little nest.
yeah.
See
But
if this works.
I genuinely do think CrossFit prepares you for those decisions, though. Like, if you're every day you're going in and you're having to fight all those voices in your head saying stop, or I don't want to do this, I don't need to do this, blah blah blah, and every day you're crushing those voices in your head. Eventually, that risk management sort of goes out the window. You go, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make these big steps. On my L1, Boz said a couple of really cool things, but he also said in the first 18 months of doing CrossFit, you will either start or end a relationship with someone or get a new job. And I was like, what does that mean? And he put it down to the fact that we start making these big decisions about our own bodies and our mindset, and that branches away into real life, and you start making bigger, more decisive decisions for yourself.
Yeah, so true.
And it definitely does happen with everyone. Like, you speak to anyone in the gym that's been doing CrossFit more than 2 years, and they will tell you that they've become a little bit more assertive and, you know, making decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Totally.
I digress. So Joey, the Defiance series, can you just tell me about the next couple of ones on that? Because I keep telling Steve that I'll come across to one and be there. Can you tell me the next couple that you got lined up, please?
Yeah, sure. So let me just have a look. So the next tour, pretty sure the next one's Comet. Sorry, you're on my phone and
Oh, don't worry.
on
It's
the
cool.
phone.
I can look it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure CrossFit Comet's the next one, which is down south. Oh, I wish I could get. Can I do this? Can I go off it? 1 second.
Yeah. Do what you need to. It's all right.
Sorry. Honestly, like, people ask me what I'm doing, and I'm like, I honestly don't know. I just take it week by week.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good.
That much in my diary. But yeah,
Yeah.
really enjoying the affiliate series so far. Like, it's been amazing to go to these boxes, you know, and speak to the owners and the members as well, like, and get an insight into it. Like, it's been amazing. We've just been to CrossFit SPT in
Right.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Which Steve will agree was like unreal. Like, the community, the energy when we walked in, like the presence and the greeting, the welcoming we got was like insane. Like, from the members and the owner. Like, yeah, it was just like a really, really good trip. Like, we both come out and was like, that was like so good. Do you know, the reaction we got from everyone, and like some of the conversations we had with the members, and obviously we sat down with the owner. Like, yeah, it was unbelievable. So good. There you go. Steve's popping in the next ones now. Look.
We've got 5th July and Nottingham.
Yeah, really enjoying it so far. It's been mega.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I look forward to them every time. The video for the up in was it Method, the first one?
Method, yeah, the first one.
Yeah, that was so cool hearing Jamie talking about all that kind of stuff, and it's had a ripple effect. You've had, you know, I know that Jamie's had a few people reach out and ask him all about like operations and systems in place, which is great. It's exactly what we need to do. We need to sharing best practice, and we're not in competition with each other. We're all part of one sort of big community that we can help grow and expand, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
cool, nice one. All right, Joey. Well, thanks for coming on. Been really appreciative of your time.
Yeah, absolute pleasure.
I'll link you up with a couple of the people that I think probably could be really good resources for you, for them with you as well. You know, give them a bit of an opportunity. But yeah, that'd be really cool. And hopefully after your summer and you've done the Defiant series and you've done a few events, I can have you back on and we can talk about sort of what's been happening and going forward. But that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, an absolute pleasure to be on, mate. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Nice one. All right, cheers, Joey. Cheers, everyone, for watching. I have got Tatianas Parents on Sunday afternoon talking about Scaled Nation and her next book that's coming out relatively soon, and also a massive reveal from my part. But yeah, anyway, tune in for that, and I'll speak to you all very soon.